What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. And guys, it is week 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was not here last week, but I did watch the episode and it was fucking phenomenal. But you know what? The second episode is just so much better, dude. Just to give a brief rundown, dude, I really love what this show is doing. And before we get into that, I just want to congrat Mo for winning our giveaway for the Anthony Mackie fabric piece worn in the Captain America Civil War film. Thank you so much, guys, for all you that participated. And stay tuned for next week's episode. We will have another giveaway. And don't forget to turn on the notifications for our Twitter so you're always informed about our giveaways. And you never know, you might be the lucky winner. But yeah, guys, what are just some of our general thoughts of the second episode? I got some of your general thoughts from the first episode, but yeah, let's just do the whole second episode. I'm just new setup yet, and I want him to show it off a little bit.
The new setup with no setup. Okay, first off, I want to say that this is even better than the first episode, and the first episode was incredible. One of the reasons why is Bucky and Sam's relationship. We got a lot more development with them from, I want to say it was Civil War. We have a lot more development with them between now, Civil War and now, which is really cool to see. I love the comedic elements of both of those two working together side by side. They feed off each other's energy, and I really love that a lot. Going into the themes a little bit, I love how they tackled systemic racism within this episode. I hope they do a lot more of that. Especially it was in Baltimore, which is really it's really bad in Baltimore when it goes into systemic racism, even though it's bad everywhere. But I love how they focused it on Baltimore, which is really bad. We got this is spoilers, by the way. So we got our first look at Zemo, who looks badass as always, which is I loved him in Civil War, and I can't wait to see more of him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Right now, that's all I have to say. I really love this episode. I love this episode too.
No, yeah. Honestly, AJ, I really like. I'm going to mention a little bit of the first episode just because it intertwines with the second episode and I wasn't here. But I really like how they're building off each individual character's branch within the first episode. And I kind of appreciated more after the first watch. And I like how in this episode they finally come together after the first episode when we get those side details on what their actual personal lives are, where Bucky doesn't have a place in the world now that one, Steve is gone, two, the icon or the symbol of Captain America has been given over to the government at that point and now given to John Walker. And having the fact to be living with all this trauma for being an assassin for 80 years. I thought that was really good that they went down that road. And then about Sam and his sister with her two boys, his nephews, and what it was like during the blip and how she raised them, and how you can see that she would want or have more of the say about what's going on since she was the one that was there for the past 5 years. But then you can also see Sam's side where he didn't have the choice to be gone for 5 years. And then I think they both really played well into the second episode on why they're both in these. One, I would say Sam is the more sarcastic Grouch, and then Bucky is the staring Grouch. That's how
he's the Batman of the group. He's the Batman of the
exactly.
group.
He's the Batman for just the stare game. He's the stare master. You can't beat him. But what I really appreciate on this episode doing is it gives more of the Captain America trait to Sam Wilson. When he's walking down the streets to go meet Elias, you see him have the conversation with these two kids on the side about the Black Falcon, and the whole conversation between the two of them. Dude, it just felt very Captain America-y to me. I don't know how to really explain it, but it felt like something that I've seen Chris Evans say in like the very first Captain America movie, which I really think this show is leading up to, is obviously Sam finally taking that shield to be rightfully his and take up the mantle. But that's a lot of jabbering for me. Loretto, what are some of your general thoughts on this show? Or this episode. Oops.
Wah, wah, wah. Not to be the downer of the group, but there's always got to be one, right? I mean, if we agreed all the time, our show would not be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
So don't hear what I'm not saying. My favorite phrase.
Here we go.
I enjoyed the episode, but I was a little underwhelmed. I believe it or not, I know some fans are action hungry. Obviously, the previous episode with the Falcon action sequence was phenomenal, but I was a little disappointed with the sequence on the truck. It just flabbergasted me how I get it. The Flag Smashers are super powered or whatever, but they made Bucky look like a bitch, and it was like, hold on, like he's the winner freaking soldier, and they were throwing him around like he's never been in a fight before. Like, I had problems with that, and also Sam. He literally took out that whole squadron up in near wherever the hell he was in Europe or whatever. And then again, he got handed it to him like easily. And I'm just like, okay, maybe the Flag Smashers are all that, but I just didn't appreciate the way they just looked really weak from a fighting standpoint. It just didn't make sense to me. I also felt like the girl that portrayed the Flag Smasher leader or whatever, she's a great actress. Don't get me wrong, but it kind of felt like Rogue One. And I think she played the exact same character, like freedom fighter for the people. It just kind of felt like, what's the word? It just felt like we've seen this before kind of thing. And personally, I would have loved, I understand the television format. I know the cliffhanger is essential to keeping us wanting more, but I just felt like I would have loved to see Zemo introduced faster. The fact that it hit credits when I saw his face, it was for me, that was worse than Please Stand By for WandaVision, because Zemo is like right there, if not my favorite MCU villain, and I felt teased in a manner that it displeased me more than it got me excited. I know he's coming, but I felt like he could have been introduced halfway through the episode and I wouldn't have complained. And also, last thing, it's really fun seeing like this Martin Lawrence, Will Smith bad boys thing going on with Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like, it's fun, but it felt like a little bit too much. Like, the therapy session was great. I liked how Bucky really opened himself up at that point. But like the first 20 minutes or so before that, it was a little bit too much, like too much jokes, and they're on a mission and they're arguing, almost getting caught. Like, it felt like, you guys are professionals. Like, you guys have done this before. You guys aren't rookies anymore. And it felt amateurish for them to be arguing in a warehouse full of bad guys. Like, it made them look really silly. And I thought that for how grounded this show was in the first episode, it was a little bit of a step down for me in this one. So
I will say, as a defender of this episode, Bucky and Sam weren't prepared enough to fight something they didn't know much about. So I can understand why they would lose that bad during that episode, or that scene. So I understand that. So now they're going to get more information, especially since their teamwork is off because they have this bad blood with the Shield, and they don't really have much chemistry when it comes to action and stuff like that. So it makes sense for me, story-wise, that they would lose during this first scene of the action sequence where we get introduced to this new society. But I will say that I'm kind of bored of the revolution type cliche. I am a little bored with that. But this isn't a movie. This is a TV series, so I guess we could have found another villain that had better motivation, but
I don't think we have the villain yet, though. I don't think the villain has been revealed yet.
Fair.
We're not doing this right now.
Yeah, to be fair, no.
I'm not
yeah.
about to say it's Mephisto, bro.
No.
No.
Yeah, you're right though. You're right though, because like this is a lot more comic booky, in terms of how it's formatted, where you get different issues, where you get like a lower rank threat. I feel like this is the lower rank threat, and it's just going to build up within the the next 4 episodes, and then we're it's already been confirmed that we're getting season 2, so that makes sense. That it's just going to build up further and further.
Yeah, I agree with Loretto. I fully agree in the sense that the action scene was actually not my favorite part of this episode. When you saw like Sam getting like punched in the chest and stuff, I'm like, wait a minute, these are super soldiers. How in the world is that guy like just coming back up after a shot like that? When you see like Bucky not being able to handle 3 super soldiers, being the Winter Soldier, that made no sense. In fact, he's like holding on to the bottom of a truck. I'm like, this is the Winter Soldier. Like he would like 8 years ago, he'd be able to get out of that no problem. But I think that's the point. Loretto. I think you see, this story is about 2 broken characters. Not to harp back on WandaVision, but look at Scarlet Witch. She was broken. Her world was shattering all around her. She didn't become the Scarlet Witch until she fully accepted her trauma and overcame it. That's what you're going to see in this show. So you have to give it some time. Let the story kind of unwind and let our characters progress a little bit. Let's peel back the onions a little bit further before we start attacking my guys here. But I love the episode. I agree with Ryan and AJ. I thought this was better than the premiere. I just want to give a quick shout out. I mean, obviously the dynamic between Sam and Bucky is absolutely dynamic. I want to give a quick shout out to Isaiah Bradley, who absolutely was incredible in this. I just want to see more of that. I hope we get like a future scene of like him getting tested on and with the serum and what all the pain and all that kind of went through. I thought that was a real human moment. I love how they're humanizing these characters top to bottom. You touched on it, AJ, on the race stuff. This is when Marvel thrives, guys. This is when Marvel thrives. When you see WandaVision tackling guilt, isolation, grief, depression, you're seeing that with these characters, and that's what I love. I love when Marvel's tackling these adult themes, adult issues, and I thought that really kind of echoed in the final moment here when you saw Sam and Bucky with Dr. Rayner in the therapy session. The quote is from Bucky. I thought there was so much emotion to this, and Sebastian Stan, acting-wise, absolutely crushed it. He said, Steve believed in you. He gave you that shield for a reason. He trusted you. That shield is everything he stood for. That is his legacy. He gave you that shield. You threw it away like it was nothing. So maybe he was wrong about you, but maybe if he was wrong about you, then he was maybe wrong about me. That says everything about why they failed that mission on the trucks. These 2 characters are broken. They don't know who they are. That's the journey. That's the journey we're on. I completely agree. We only got 4 episodes. This is like the Clone Wars problem. I wish we had like a whole 20 episodes to deep dive and fully flesh out these characters. But man, this was some of the best television I have seen in a long, long time. I told you this before the show started. I said it during the premiere. The show just gets me, and I am fully in love with these characters. I can't wait to see where this progresses.
I want to say that the character Isaiah, I thought he was very interesting.
What?
He was very interesting. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him and Bucky.
Guys, you ready for a hot take real quick? Yeah, I think you guys are ready for a hot take.
Mephisto!
So no. We're not starting with Mephisto. But honestly, I'm really liking the John Walker character.
Amazing.
Amazing. Dude, of course you are. Of course you are.
I love it, dude. Honestly, I know I'm gonna get some backlash for this because #NotMyCap. I believe in that too. He's not my cap. But dude, I didn't realize from an actor standpoint, Russell Wyatt Russell, right? Yeah, Wyatt Russell.
Yep.
Is dude, I've never really seen him before. I think I've seen him in like one or two other projects. But man, dude, I really bought him in this second episode, might being Captain America. And then later on today, they actually confirmed with him on I think Good Morning America that he auditioned for Captain America back in like 2010 or something. And I don't know, I think Wyatt Russell really knocked it out of the park. And it goes back to what you said, Loretto. I would much rather see them flesh out more of the Wyatt Russell character in the hashtag #NotMyCap movement over the whole burning down the earth or burning down the world because the world was much better with no governments and stuff like that. Because like Deeb said, it's kind of typical, generic, and honestly, I thought it was kind of boring compared to Wyatt Russell and their backstories. Go ahead, Deebs.
This is why I love this episode. This is probably one of my biggest praises of this episode. And where Marvel thrives is when it's not black and white. They're targeting these gray areas. Why Thanos was so freaking great. He had a side of him that you rooted for. When Marvel thrives is when they're presenting these characters that you can see the good and the bad. I saw that a lot with the Flag Smashers. I think there's a shit ton that we don't know about these guys that's just going to really unravel moving forward. You look at John Walker. This is a completely different version of John Walker than we've seen in the comics. And I just loved how it's all in the front. I think we're all on the surface. He's presenting as charming. He's got the resume. He looks like a previous, like in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Who was that guy? The old guy, the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm drawing a blank.
Pierce.
Well, it was Robert Redford, but I can't remember his name.
Robert Redford.
Alexander Pierce.
Alexander Pierce, nice.
Yeah, Alexander Pierce. He's like a future Alexander Pierce that he's decorated, but man, this guy's seated, deep rooted in some bad shit. And I love the difference you see between these two. Like Sam Wilson got the shield for a reason from Captain America. Sam Wilson believes in individuals. Sam Wilson believes in doing what is right and doing what is good. He believes in trusting people. You look at John Walker, this is a systems guy. This is a guy who does what the government tells him. This is a yes man, and that's why Sam sees straight through him to the core and didn't join up with him at the end. And when John Walker saw that, he's probably never used to hearing the word no. I love that dynamic. I just want them to just continue that parallel between John Walker and Lamar. I forget his name already. I'm sorry.
Hoskins.
No, his code name.
Battlestar or some shit like that.
Thank you. And Sam and Bucky, like that dynamic going forward, investigating and all that that was awesome. That was awesome.
No, yeah, honestly, Deebs, there's a lot of things that kind of unfolded, and this episode kind of really set up where the rest of the season, I guess you can say, with 4 episodes left, is really going. And to be quite frank, man, that leaves me kind of worried. When you look at this show and WandaVision, I think they had the episode count backwards. I feel like WandaVision would have been a better 6-episode season. And I feel like there's so many plot lines they really introduced in this one episode. So let's just think about it. We have Bucky and Sam with their differences. Sam coming to terms of being Captain America at the end. We have what's the organization group called again? OFT.
I think it's Flag something. I can't remember.
Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers.
So we got Flag Smashers.
Terrible name, by the way.
We've got that's
they mentioned that in the show too.
Yeah, they mentioned that. Bad names of bad guys. And then what do we have? We have Baron Zemo now introduced. We have their backgrounds to handle with their families. And we only have 4 episodes left. And then we're still being introduced to Sharon Carter.
You're forgetting
in the next episode.
You're forgetting that we're getting season 2 as well.
But did they confirm that?
Yeah, Kevin Feige.
Taser face. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess that fixes it. But I don't know. I still think a 9-episode season to like wrap all this up, because if they plan on doing a second season, I really don't want them to end this show like they ended WandaVision, because at least with WandaVision, we're getting most of those answers, it seems like, in Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel 2 in those separate movies. But bro, we're probably going to be waiting like a year, half, 2 years, something like Stranger Things for this next season. So I want them to really just tie up loose ends that don't set up the next season like a typical TV show would do. But that's just how I feel.
But if you think about it, with like shows like Game of Thrones or Spartacus, it's the same format though. They leave a lot to be desired within those shows, and then you wait a while until it's been made, and then it goes on to the next season. All right,
you're gonna kill me for saying this. I'm sorry, but I've never watched either one of those shows.
Well, I mean, it goes with anything. It goes with any. It goes with any big name series like Sopranos or even Walking Dead or just any big like 50-minute to an hour mini.
Yeah, but I feel like the difference with those shows are because they're on public networks, they have these long breaks that allows them to span over much more time than a streaming service would more than likely do. And we've seen what they do with holidays. They did that with whatchamacallit, The Mandalorian in its first season. They did something specific because of the release of Rise of Skywalker and then Christmas the next week. I don't remember what they did, but yeah.
I will say this. I just thought about this. They are connecting Winter Soldier specifically into the
and Civil War
newer shows like Hawkeye and She-Hulk and
Armor Wars.
Just the young. No, I'm talking about the younger Avengers. I think that's what Falcon and Winter Soldier is specifically trying to connect.
But I feel like that's with most of these shows. I feel like that's what we're going to say for most of these shows where we've seen the title characters, but this is the first time this is like their first titular role, let's say. Like it happened with WandaVision. It's just setting up a bunch of young Avengers, and then we've got Miss Marvel, we've got Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Set up anything besides the movies. Specifically, WandaVision didn't set up anything besides Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yeah, but those will eventually lead into Young Avengers movies.
Yeah, I mean, everything is going to connect.
Nah, bro, with the events of that film, I'm telling you, it's going to lead to creating a Young Avenger.
The events of that film. I like this format. I'm glad this show came after WandaVision. I think it makes it feel more.
It makes more sense. Yeah,
I think it makes it feel more fresh. It's more integrative. There's more storytelling. You watch WandaVision. I love to death coming on with you guys and just theory after theory after theory, hour after hour after hour. This is more integrative. Like I love the episodic nature of this. And I respect that WandaVision came first, and then we get this. And I fully get it. I get it, guys, that like if you wanted like a Born Identity, Born Ultimatum show that's like balls to the wall, brass knuckles, fight scene after fight scene after fight scene, tons of pace, all that kind of stuff. I get it. I get why you might not like this, but like it for me personally, character development, character progression. I think that I keep going back to WandaVision, guys. Like we talked before WandaVision, how the hell is Kevin Feige going to up the character arcs of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers? He's doing it right now. He's doing it right now with these amazing characters that he's layering and developing. So it is like just I am blown away at these first two episodes. I don't get the hate. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think we need to celebrate this.
Also, this has been the thing with the MCU in general anyway. Kevin Feige always focused on story rather than action. The action just helped it develop a lot more. Like Captain America, Winter Soldier. We all praise it for its action, but the best thing about the Winter Soldier is the storyline of Captain America, introducing Falcon. Just it's better because it focuses on its story and then focuses on this action. And that's the main thing with all the MCU.
Can I speak to that, AJ?
Go on.
because as phenomenal as the action in Winter Soldier is, my favorite moment is when Bucky's beating the shit out of Steve, and he looks at him with blood running down his face. I'm with you till the end of the line. And the way Bucky looks at him, dude, rip my heart out, my own show.
And that wouldn't have been as impactful if it wasn't for the first Avenger and the start
that's what
of
I'm saying. The Russo brothers, whether you guys hate or not you guys, but the internet, whether you guys hate or love the Russo brothers, they pay off these stories and these characters so well. And that was one of them.
Yeah, that's like the Avengers Endgame moment when that final moment. That's 10 years of character development. Like, I think in general, like we gotta like just have a long-term picture of what Kevin Feige's building. We're a long way away. We're a long way away from where this is going. The fact that we're here now and we're actually having these adult themes and tackling these adult issues, these real ground-breaking issues in the real life, I feel like Marvel is truly on the right path here.
No, yeah, and I think what the show gets right the most is the character dynamic between the two characters, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because they represent both sides of Steve. One the past and one the person he turned out to be after he came out of the ice, but also being the same person that he was in the first Avenger. And I see the terror of those two separate worlds for him, or the two characters, is monumental in this show. And like I think it was AJ said, the whole therapy scene was fucking awesome. I really liked it, not only because one, it was funny, but it really gave you dug deep down into like their emotional problems and stuff like that. And I was kind of waiting for Bucky to say that he felt like he deserved the shield. But as I was thinking that, I'm like, that doesn't make sense with the way Endgame ended, because he told Sam to go talk to Cap. And he's just like, he gave him that look like, yeah, dude, you deserve what you're about to get, kind of. But did anyone else feel that way, or was it just me?
Well, can I say something? I for one, love the scene. But like, I hate to keep making like comparisons to other things, but have you guys seen 22 Jump Street? Where Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum were getting couples counseling?
Yeah.
That, like, it just reminded me of that so much, and it just speaks to the chemistry between the two. So,
well, the difference between that and the 22 Jump Street is Falcon and Winter Soldier focused on their trauma a lot more, but it was delivered in a comedic type of way, which it molds the two together. I'm going to say this over and over again, but Kevin Feige and his team knows how to balance comedic elements and then like the horror elements of just life. He does it. So this is why I love the MCU, and I think it's better than DCU because he knows how to combine elements perfectly.
And well, I just meant like, because I didn't get a chance to like kind of finish what I was getting at, but I didn't mean to like go too far off there. But the thing with Bucky too is that I think he doesn't want to admit it or say it out loud, but I think he believes in Sam too.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is almost like Steve in the flesh, like, God, like we both believe in you and you're turning away from us. So I think that was part of it, and it just wasn't said, so.
Yeah, I love the question that was brought up in that therapy session. The question of, was Captain America wrong? Could Captain America be wrong? Like, this is the best soldier in America, in the world. And he represented everything that was good and right. And we just went through all of that with Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. Like, I love that idea that, like, let's talk about it. Like, we talked about who was right in the Sokovia Accords. Was it Team Captain America? Was it Team Tony Stark? Iron Man? And I feel like that question, is truly the question that's breaking down Bucky and Sam here. And I also felt like a big part of this episode was breaking down, the responsibility the pressure of being in that shadow as Captain America. You saw it in the beginning scenes, which I loved, of John Walker in his old hometown as a football player in the locker room, and like looking at his old locker, and like the Battlestar, I think his name is, comes in, like, did you throw up yet? Like, I love that dynamic, because that's what Sam is dealing with. And there was like a one-liner towards the end of this episode where Sam was like, is the pressure getting to you yet? And that was like, you look at John Walker as a character, like, this guy is like flawless. He refuses to accept pressure. He's decorated. He's succeeded in pretty much every single area of his life. And Sam made a comment. I forget what it was. I don't want to I don't want to quote him wrong, but there was a moment there where Sam said, like, literally like 5 words, and it just shot right through John Walker. Like, there's a reason that Sam can see straight through John Walker. I think it's beyond the fact that he's the new Captain America. I think he's got the instincts of Captain America, that he does not trust this guy, and there's definitely more under the surface in this character.
No, yeah, they're definitely leading up for John Walker and his Captain America interpretation to be the villain. And if I'm pretty sure, AJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't John Walker just an evil Captain America in the comics?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who U.S. Agent eventually becomes. But you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I like that they made him likable here. Hats off to Wyatt Russell.
Like I
he's a
like
great
I was saying
actor.
before.
He is a great actor.
Yeah, dude, like I was saying before with Wyatt Russell, dude, this entire first episode or second episode, I'm just like, bro, I thought he was supposed to be a villain and turn into like the U.S. agent, because the entire episode, I'm just like, man, he just seems like a really sincere dude. But I knew in the back of my head that it's more than likely all a show, pun intended. And I don't know if any of you felt like this too, but I thought his introduction after the whole locker room scene with him and his wife or girlfriend and him running out is a great reflection of how Steve started as Captain America. Because when Steve started as Captain America, he wasn't going out to war. He represented war, but he had never been in war. And he's doing all these stage shows to show America that pride that we could win. And I thought that this show had a really good resemblance of that first Captain America movie as we get introduced to a new Captain America. And Russell Wyatt fucking killed it. That's all I'm gonna say, Deebs.
Well,
go.
No, that's how America treated the original Cap. Was he was a mascot. He wasn't a real.
He wasn't a captain
soldier. He was a gimmick, and that's the way they're treating John Walker, which is he's trying to prove himself, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it's questioning. The question there is, what is John Walker's motive? And you look at Steve's motive. He just wanted to be, in the army. He wanted to, prove that he can help people. Like, that was his entire motive, was to help in some way. And we'll see what John Walker's true motive is within the next couple episodes for sure. But I love that little that question, because I don't know. There's a lot of subplots in this that are building. And I think Baron Zemo, his involvement with the Flag Smashers, everything revolves around John Walker getting the serum, becoming a super soldier, and it takes Bucky and Sam to team together and take him down. And they are building this emotional fight down the road that I absolutely cannot wait for.
That's another question that needs to be answered: is how are they getting a lot of super soldiers? Is it because of the character? What is it, Battlestar? I think it was because of that scene where he said he's been tested on when he went to jail and stuff like that. So I think he's going to be connected a lot more within the series than we think, and within the future series as well.
I definitely think they're gonna pull a bait and switch with this. I think John Walker set it all up. I definitely think he was not a black market agent, but the hooded figure that was helping the Flag Smashers in the background to whatever knowledge it might be to us. And he's using them as an unknown identity associate so he can make himself look good, because, dude, he was looking pretty good out there when they were fighting on top of the trucks, and he didn't look like he was struggling up until that very last moment until they kicked him. So I definitely believe that they're gonna intertwine at some point, and then maybe it's the Flag Smashers that break Zemo out of jail or something like that, and then that's how they kind of all connect. I can't really see it connecting anywhere else unless anyone has a better idea than me.
Can we just talk about how terrible the world has gotten since the blip? Like every single person of power in the world since the blip is just a dickhead. You know, like that's just what they are. Like the world has gone to shit, and that's just that's like you look at all of these characters returning and through like that's like my like quick from watching this episode, like every single person part of like Sword and whatever it's just this douchebag.
Hey, Dibes, can I just say, though, that's like the most realistic part of the MCU. Like, half of our leaders in the world are all either despised or disliked or controversial. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to our actual leaders, and some of them are downright a-holes. So
Interesting.
There is one concept that I really like that they added to the whole blip with Avengers Endgame, and that's the world is divided in a different type of social class, you could say. They touch a little bit here and there in the first 2 episodes about how people that have returned after the blip are being favored over the people that survived the blip. And so I really hope they dabble a little bit more into those 2 classes of the people that disappeared and then the people that have been here for 5 years. And it seems like those people that have been there for 5 years were just shafted because all these people came back in the same exact spots, the same exact looking people as they were when they left 5 years ago. And I like how the show is slowly building on the blip. In the first episode, we got the sovereign borders with the Sokovia Accords, hinting back to Civil War, and how the blip has kind of tore separate countries apart. Not that we've really seen too much, more verbal confirmation that the blip just kind of divided countries when it comes to social security, believing who's who, and false identity pretty much. And that's something that I'm really excited to see a little bit more of rather than the action on top of the Bucky Sam relationship in this show.
Hey, Ryan, can I say I'm glad you mentioned that because I was being hella negative earlier, but that's one thing about the Flag Smashers that I enjoy because they have a reason to be upset because they're probably struggling and they've been there already, and all of a sudden people blip back and they get all the love and treatment, and I think that's a very interesting plot point. But I just personally, the group, the way that it's framed is what I don't care for. But I think the character of that girl, if it was just her and she was tearing shit up, and then they caught her and she was just like, "You, this is what I want. This is what I'm fighting for." Like that would have been cool. But like, I think the group dynamic was a little bit contrived. But that's just my personal opinion. But
no, yeah, the group dynamic in the Flag Smashers was definitely kind of generic and boring to me. The main female character is pretty, I don't want to say really interesting. We don't really know much about her other than that she's been at this for a while and they're on the run. So I want them to dabble a little bit more into that because I don't really feel like they're very threatening, I guess. I don't know if threatening is the right word, but I definitely feel like John Walker and obviously Zemo, since we've seen what he's been able to do, they feel much more threat and I don't want to say world ending in this case, but more of a consequence to the governmental system than I feel like the Flag Smashers would. But they also haven't really revealed like what their true plan is, unless I completely missed it. They just want the world to go back to the way it was before everyone came back during the blip era, I guess we can say. So I hope they kind of develop that a little bit more to help me give more self-gratification, I guess you can say. But does anyone like want to dabble on that, or did we leave anything out that someone wanted to touch on?
No, I'm good. I mean, I enjoy like the Flag Smashers are like kind of like the terrorists of this show, and I enjoy for now that they're keeping it open-ended. There's no black and white. We're going to peel like an onion, peel a little bit more of what the Flag Smashers are about, just like Isaiah Bradley in this episode. You saw him, like they tested on him, they set him up, and he put him in jail. What if Lamar is like the new kind of like African-American version of him back in the day? Like that, I think there's a dynamic there. I'm interested to see where that parallel goes, and I hope Isaiah is, that wasn't a one and done. But I enjoy how they keep the gray area in this show so far. Like, there's a lot of reason why you're rooting for John Walker. There's a lot of reason why you don't like John Walker. There's a lot of reason why he's right in this one. That's what made Captain America: Civil War so fun. That's what made Thanos as a villain so much fun. So I enjoy this concept.
No, yeah, honestly, Deebs, I completely agree. But the one thing about this show that seems kind of not odd, but I'm kind of glad it's not happening is, dude, I was so done with fan theories after WandaVision. And it's so nice to have a show where every single scene, I'm not questioning whether that's Mephisto or not. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But guys, I really dug this second episode. I can't wait to see more and what these next 4 episodes are going to build up to for the season finale. And real quick, before we wrap things up, let's go ahead and give this episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a grade. Let's start off with you, Loretto. What would you grade this episode?
Perfect way to start, because I'm the one that's probably the lowest. So don't get me wrong. I just felt there was too much humor, not to be like every other person hating on the MCU, but I just felt like there was a little bit too much. I did enjoy the banter between Bucky and Falcon versus U.S. Agent and Hoskins, Battlestar, whatever you want to call him. That was pretty funny, and I loved how he said that line, like, does he always do that? And then Falcon's like, you'll get used to it. Because Bucky was giving him the death stare, and I thought that was funny. But yeah, I just thought there was a little bit, it was like heavy-handed with the humor. Like I didn't mind it, and I especially liked the therapy scene, but it was a little bit too much in my opinion. I needed more Zemo. I think Zemo is too important of a character to just, for 2 episodes out of 6, to just leave him out. No. That's not what I was expecting. Like, hold on. Like, I just think that Daniel Brühl as an actor and a character just needed more. And I know that he's probably pulling strings in the background, but I would love to see just dig into his psyche more. Like, what has he been doing? Where's his mindset right now? He's been in jail, and he didn't fail in breaking up the Avengers. He has succeeded, but he got captured, and he was ready to end his life before T'Challa saved him. I'm just curious where his psyche is, where his persona is, and I'm sure we'll get 4 episodes full of him, but I wanted more, in my opinion. Overall grade, despite of all of my shortcomings. Oh, and actually one more shout out, because AJ touched on this a little bit. I loved that sequence when Poe rolled up on Sam and he was like, we're just talking. I loved that. I loved that because the cops were just being shady. They didn't recognize him. Mm-hmm. And it very much spoke to the time. So for that scene alone, it elevates what my original grade would have been. So I was leaning more towards a 5.6, if I'm being honest. But because of the social commentary, because of the performances of Wyatt Russell and Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, 6.5.
Man, dude, you might as well just say you hate the MCU at this point. Holy shit. That's all I'm going to say. But
I'll accept your resignation in the morning.
I mean, dude, honestly, I'm with Deebs on that one. I'm sorry. 6.5. Oh my God, you're getting blasted for a while for that one. But Deebs,
I almost gave it a 5, so hold on.
Yeah, dude, thankfully you did not. But Deebs, what would you rank this episode?
Oh man, like negatives, we touched on it. I'm a little surprised we didn't get Sharon though. Like, little quick nod to Sharon. Where the hell's Sharon? I need
Agent 13.
I need Sharon to show up next week as well. I was a little offended when we heard the musical theme of the Winter Soldier when they showed John Walker. I gotta give a quick nod to that. That was like, nah, NOTMYCAP. I credit the hell out of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for like going deeper into the aftermath of the blip. That's what I wanted to see and celebrate Captain America's legacy. We got that in episode 2. And I disagree with you, Ryan. I'm kind of glad that Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out after WandaVision. If WandaVision was like the appetizer and this is like the main course, then Loki is going to be the dessert and it's going to be tasty. But anyway, this is way better than the premiere. This is diving into the grounded Marvel adult themes that made WandaVision so successful, and we only saw it here in this episode 2. This was better than the premiere. I gave it like an A. This is like a solid 9. I gave it in my review a 9.4 out of 10, which I like to think that I'm pretty objective normal of the time. But this was like, in terms of writing, in terms of character development, in terms of really layering these characters, this is amazing television. 9.4.
Yeah, fuck you, Lo. Anyway, let's just go straight to AJ.
I'm gonna make this quick. It's an A for me. Just all the points Babs was just talking about. So I'm just gonna say it's an A. I'm not gonna say any more than that. That's all.
You know what? I'm gonna go a number 3 for 4 on an A there. You know what? Easy 9. That shit slapped the premiere episode out of the park. Said no bueno. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, bro, Loretto, you're the only one that thinks this episode's a 6.5 on this planet.
Take the shirt off.
Bro,
Take
I'm pretty. Nah,
You
I'm
don't
pretty
deserve
sure.
that shirt, Loretto. It's
No,
like
Loretto.
Odin. I feel like Odin. Like, I'm gonna like remove your sleeves. I'm gonna take off your shirt.
Hey, hold up. As a Marvel fan, though,
You
is
have
it
been
so much
banished.
for me to just want a little bit
Deep.
more and just want a little
Bro.
bit more Zemo? Is this
Loretto.
too much to add?
I do want to say this real quick. Just like this episode and last episode, we did get John Walker a little bit at the last episode, and we got a lot of him in this episode. I think it's going to be the same thing with Zemo. We get a little sneak peek of him in this episode, and we're going to get a lot of him. I guarantee you, I will bet
The
you money
episode's
on
gonna
this.
do that. Watch.
We will get a little backstory of Zemo and what he's been doing while he was in jail or something like that. And then it'll just cut off to the future where Bucky and Sam just talks to him. I think we're going to get a lot of him next week. And then we're going to get Sharon Carter the week after that.
You know what I think about like Captain Marvel? How they completely reversed the Skrulls and the Kree. Like, is that where this show is going? Like, that was like borderline like post Phase 3. If I think of like the phases of the MCU, like Harry Potter, like if the MCU Phase 1 was the Sorcerer's Stone, Phase 2 was the Chamber of Secrets, and then Phase 3 was the Prisoner of Azkaban, and we're gonna get like Deathly Hallows Part 2 here. Like in Phase 4 and beyond, but like, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not the biggest Potter guy, but I don't think we're there yet. I think you're right, but I don't think we're there yet. I think we're in the Goblet of Fire era. We're not quite there yet.
I still think we have a long way to go before we get to like Deathly Hallows. I think we have a long time for that.
Fine.
No, if we're talking about Deathly Hallows, we better see Galactus.
Exactly.
Bro, there's so many bigger
I'm
villains
talking
to
like
see.
7, 8, 9 years from now. That's
what I'm saying. We're not there yet, but you know.
I feel like we are in the just like they're building characters so well. They're about to introduce so many new characters, top to bottom, Young Avengers, just everywhere.
Well,
and we're seeing these side characters get built up, and that's only going to make the films better. It's only going to make the TV series better. Everything is coming together more. There's more integration right now, and that's why I call it.
God, to your point though, when do we see Kang the Conqueror? That's what A year or two from now? When's Quantumania supposed to drop?
22,
Next year?
I think.
No, I think
Yeah,
you'll see.
22.
Kang. I think you'll get a hint at Kang and Loki.
We're gonna get a little
regardless,
bit of Kang
we'll get full Kang at, next year. So I just don't think we're there yet. Like he's not like Kang the Conqueror is not even here yet. So
Loretto, I just want to
get a
tell you
little
one
hint
thing.
of Kang and Loki though.
Maybe.
Loretto, I want to tell you one thing. Okay. Your grade for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is so low that Martin Scorsese graded it higher.
Hey,
roasted.
Wait a minute.
Roasted.
I wasn't
Get
that
outta
harsh.
Here.
Jeez.
You are that harsh.
Yeah,
But
Loretto,
man,
you're gonna need another gauntlet. You're gonna need 2 gauntlets for this show.
You're gonna need 3 gauntlets to not hear the end of this.
Tony's gauntlet off the wall.
Oh man, it's great to be back and talking with you guys on another Marvel project. Man, I'm gonna say, wow, we already got 4 weeks left, but man, this show is only 6 episodes, so I can't really say it's been that fucking load of a time there. But you know what, guys? I really love talking about this show. This show is great, and I will continue to say that for the next 4 weeks because we're paid by Marvel. Haha, no, we're not. That's a joke. Please don't DMCA strike us. Don't sue us. Don't do anything. That was an absolute joke on the right of my lawyers. But you know what? Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. And don't forget to stay tuned on our Twitter for more giveaways. Is there anything I left out, guys? Because the script
not a hater over here, by the way.
Yeah.
Take that off, Loretto.
Take it off.
Your team skins for the rest of the show. Your team skins for the rest of the show.
I just want to say thank you, Steve's Cards and Collectibles for an awesome giveaway. We just gave it out to my man Mo. But we're going to have another giveaway next week, mid-season giveaway. So just be sure to be on the lookout for the details for that. So yeah.
We'll see you guys next Friday. Pew, pew, pew. Wait, this is...